Today we'll be making a thesis report. So, some point in time in your academic careers here in the university, you may have to make a thesis report. I'll be explaining to you how you can create a dynamic table of contents for your project reports or your thesis reports. And the benefit of making a table of contents which is dynamically updated will be demonstrated by me. So one thing that is quite important in most of the in thesis reports and project reports is to make the title page. So I'm going to take this chance and make the most of it and try to explain to you what a good or a professional thesis report or a project report title page should look like. This is a standard title page. So you have the final year project report kind of title on the page. Then you have the name of the project, and then brief description if you want to add that to your and then you have a logo of your university, or and then you have the name of the advisors like this, and then you can add some other things, and then the name of the university maybe, or the department, or the degree, or the so we'll try to make the same. Let's Most of you must know by now that if you wanted to type in something like so let's type in final year project report, right? And let's zoom in a bit, and we'll try to have a look at the complete page later on, and try to maintain a full complete title page look for this page, right? So before we apply any formatting to the text, there are two options for us. The first option is that I type the text and then I apply the formatting. The second option is that I don't type the text, I remain at this point, the cursor keeps blinking at this point, and I apply the formatting and then I start typing, right? So let me show you both the things. So the first thing is that I type the text without any formatting. This is default style. You can see here default formatting style, and I can just select the text I want to apply the formatting to, and then I can apply the formatting. Um, the second so let me change the style to bold, and change the font type to, let's suppose, Calibri, and let's change the font size to 32, and instead of applying spaces to bring the text towards the center of the page, this is something that will get your marks deducted in the final exam. So you don't need to do that, because whenever I turn this special character thing on and I can see all the spaces being pressed by a student, this is a wrong way of bringing your text in the center of the page. You shouldn't be doing that. You should just get rid of this, and you should use this button, which is called the center alignment button, and this button will automatically bring your text in exactly the center of the page, and it will not you won't be required to apply spaces before or after the text, and it will be absolutely accurate. The pixel or measurements of the text, the margins from the left side and right side will be exactly the same, which cannot be achieved using spaces. Spaces are only going to approximate the center alignment of this text, which we don't want, right? So okay, so once we write this, the second option that I was talking about was that I don't type any text, and I I change the with before typing anything, I change the font style to Calibri, the font size to let's say 32, and the style to bold, and the alignment to center, and then I start typing like final year project report. Both these options are correct. There is no difference between the output of both of these options, so you can either apply the formatting before you type, or you can type the text and then select the text before applying the properties. So I hope you, for most of you, this is a trivial information. Then you go to the next line, or maybe the even the next line than that, and let's type in some like for example, my student, they called their project Smart Doctor, right? And then add a little description, like they added a description, a solution for heart diseases, right? And now change the formatting of the second line to uh, text size 20, right? Then you go on to the next lines. So one of the things you must remember by in order to make all of this is that you know whenever you press enter key after a line, the text formatting of that line is copied to the next lines, right? So if I press enter after smart doctor line and I type something, you can see that the words have the same formatting as the previous thing. And if I press enter after this line, a solution for heart diseases, and I press enter over here and I type something, the formatting is the same as this line, right? So you must keep this in mind, that whenever you continue typing from one line to the next line, the formatting of that line is copied to the next line, right? So there are, there could be your desire to get rid of any text properties. So what you need to do, you need to go over here and you need to press the default text. So let me first type the, now this text has the same formatting as this one, but if I press the default styling again, or sorry, the clear formatting option, if I click the clear formatting option, it takes me to the default text style which with which you start your document. Whenever you start writer, this is the default formatting that you see. Times New Roman, size 12, no bold, italic or underline, and no left alignment. All of these things are uh, formatting is cleared using this option, clear formatting. So I'm going to go to my browser and I'm going to get the image downloaded into your system, into your hard disk. So save image as, and I'm going to go to the, for example, the my documents, and I'm going to save. So it is going to be saved into my documents folder, and then I'm going to go back to my writer document and I'm going to use the insert picture from file, right? I'm going to go to the insert menu and I'm going to go to the picture option, in which we have two options, and I'm going to select the first option, which is called from file, and I'm going to click from file option, and it is going to show me the browse of my computer, the browse window for files in my computer. I'm going to go to documents, and hopefully I should see yeah, another quick trick for you guys. So uh I have, I every time I start my new operating system, I set the Windows Explorer to this option, that I change the sorting of the files. So what I do is I have set the date modified. Can you guys see this date modified option? If you cannot see the date modified option on your Windows Explorer tabs, you can right click this and you can simply select the date modified from this list, or you can go to the more option and you can find date modified into, it's a very long list of attributes of files within which you can select the date modified option, and you can, and when I select date modified in descending order, the last file that I used always comes on top. Whenever I go to a folder and I try to find a file that I've been working on, because I work too much on my computer and I have so many files all the time, and it's very difficult for me to find the files, what I do is I always sort all of my Windows Explorer documents using um, Windows Explorer windows using date modified in descending order. It allows me to see the files, the latest files on top of all other files. So it's very easy for me to locate those files immediately. So here I can see the FC University logo is on top of all of this list, and I click open, and we should be seeing. So yeah, So the logo is inserted right where we wanted it to be, and I'm just going to resize the image slightly just to make it look appropriate on. And by the way, it's very easy to mess up the aspect ratio of your image by doing this. That is the aspect ratio. So no one likes an image with a wrong aspect ratio, right? So we don't like the logo if it looks like it is squeezed from top and above to make it look like an elf or something. So we would like to, and similarly, if I stretch it too much, I wouldn't like this image as well, because it looks like it is squeezed from the sides, and it is it has wrong proportions. So I say that it has wrong aspect ratio. So I want to keep the aspect ratio of my image preserved while I change the size of that. So what do I do in order to do that? I hold and press the shift key while I am changing the size of my image from the corner boxes. So I hold and press the shift key on the keyboard, and then I use the mouse to change the size of this image. And no matter how small I make it, it will never look like it is squeezed from top to bottom or from the sides. So it looks like it is squeezed from all sides in the same proportions to look exactly in the same shape that we inserted it in. So if I zoom it in, you can see this is the same logo with the different size. The second thing is that we would like to insert our name over here. So the name of the students that made this project was, I don't. So in our template, we don't write their names on the front page. But if I'm not wrong, I used to insert. So we should do that by, let's suppose, what was the name of this student? Let's suppose Shehroz Ahmed, right? Shehroz Ahmed, right? So, and then we would like to type in. You can type, by the way, you can type your name over here if you would like to do that. And you can type in supervisor, yeah, or supervised by. You can type in my name or some of your instructor's name, and you can type in partial fulfillment of partial fulfillment of you know degree requirements for BSc Computer Science. And now, if you look at the complete picture of this page, it really isn't that appealing. So I'm going to change the size of the names by and supervised by to, let's suppose, 16 size, and I think we're good to go. So our title page is made. It is, and now you go to the last line of the page, the last character of the you know. of this page, after BSc Computer Science, and you want to insert a new page. So you can press Control plus Enter to insert page break, and page break will immediately take you to the new page. And it is the right way of inserting a new page, instead that you keep on typing, pressing Enter key. And by the way, you may have looked what I've done right now, that I looked at the complete picture of this by zooming out of this, using this zoom bar over here. So I saw that all of this page could use a little space on top. So I pressed an enter key on top. So now all of my page is centered absolutely in the middle from the vertical angles as well, right? So and this is how these are little tweaks that you do to make your document look professional. And this is something that people from good universities like you guys, you should do that. You should absolutely make sure, and of the fact that people from the outside world may be looking at your work. So you should be very, very aware of the documents that you make, and especially your thesis reports, your project reports, because they may be read by people from the outside world, so they should look very professional, right? So never take this thing lightly, because I keep telling my students in my department, sometimes they listen, mostly they don't. And you have to be really aware of the fact that you have to make the look of your document look professional, and it should not look childish or immature. Okay, so much about this. And now the okay, so now I'm going to do something which may look like it's slightly haphazard, but this is how things are done in real life as well. So the first thing is that I'm going to add content to my thesis report without inserting the table of contents. I'm going to insert the content in my thesis report. So let's just gather some data from the internet and try to give some formatting to that. So I'm going to call my chapters as chapter 1, and the chapter 1 would be, let's suppose, background and introduction. Let me call it background and introduction. And then I'm going to use control enter to go even to the third page, and I'm going to right. So I have pressed control enter after chapter 1 background, after typing chapter 1 background and introduction, and I'm going to the next page and I'm going to type chapter 2, and I'm going to name this chapter uh let's suppose our proposed design. And then I'm going to go to our I'm going to press a couple of enter keys and then another control enter, and I'm going to add another chapter. Let's call it chapter 3, and let me call it implementation challenges, right? And then I'm going to add another chapter called chapter 4, and I'm going to call it uh, final product. I'm going to add another chapter called chapter 5, and I'm going to call it future work, right? So I'm going to keep it very simple. I'm just going to add these 5 very basic, simple, obvious kind of things. And let me chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, 4, 5, right? We are going to add these 5 like these are pretty standard kind of things that come to mind whenever you are talking about a project. This is how you go about making chapters in your project. Then you have sub this is the main heading of a of a chapter. Then you can have subheadings, and then you can have even further subheadings. So it goes on inside every chapter, and we are going to do that. So everyone done up to this point? So now so now I'm going to populate my document with I can call it dummy data, and I'm going to collect dummy data from Wikipedia. I'm going to go to mobile applications. I'm going to type mobile applications, and I'm going to type Wikipedia, and it's going to show me mobile app page of Wikipedia. So I'm going to go to the mobile app page of Wikipedia, and surely it has a lot of text over there for that. And actually, so I'm trying to get a page which is very long. So yeah, I got it there. So this is a page called the Linux operating system page. So go to the Google page and type Linux, and then type Wikipedia, right? And you're going to see Linux Wikipedia page. Go to that page and you're going to see a lot of information about this something that we call Linux, and it was invented by this person Linus Torvalds, and it's a famous operating system that you, without knowing much about it, you use it all the time. And I'm not going to go into further details because we discussed it in the operating systems chapter a bit. So now I want you to go to so you here you can see that they have made the history part. Go to the history part and select all the text inside history before design. So I'm going to select the all the text which is inside which is under the heading history, right? So uh, all the text under the heading history. So I'm grabbing all the text under history, and the next heading from history is called design. So I'm going to select all the text before the heading design. I come to this point and I right click this text and I select copy, or I can use Control C to copy this text. And once I do that, now you can see that there are pictures inside this, and I don't want the pictures to go into my document. And there are hyperlinks. These are all the hyperlinks you can see, where you can click and go to next web pages. I don't want them to go into my document as well. So I just want the plain text without any formatting, so that I can format it to my requirements in my document. So how do I get rid of those? You go to the edit menu, you go to paste special, right? Or you can press Control Shift V, but go to paste special option and select the unformatted text option. Unformatted text, although you can, it's a very good technique to start a notepad, paste all the text over there, then reselect all the text, and then press Control C, and then bring it back into the document. But a quicker way would be going to edit menu, paste special, using the unformatted text option, pressing OK, and you can see that so much text is inserted. But I feel before doing this, I should clear the formatting of all the text. So I have cleared the formatting of all the text to default, text size and styles. We have placed the cursor beneath chapter 1 heading, and then we have gone to the styles drop down menu on the toolbar on top of this writer app, and then we have used the clear formatting to get rid of any text and paragraph formatting. Now the cursor is blinking over here, and then I have gone to edit menu, then paste special, then I have gone to unformatted text option, then I have gone to OK. So it is going to insert all the text that I have copied without any text formatting inside this thing. Now I want you to go to the Wikipedia page, and you can see that there were some subheadings like precursors, creation, naming, commercial and popular uptake, current development, right? There were 5 subheadings you can see in this table of contents as well. You will select the precursors text, this line, and we want to make it a subheading. So I'm going to write down 1.1 and then a dash and then a space, so that it looks like a subheading, right? Of chapter 1 called 1.1, right? And similarly, we go to the next subheading, which is creation, and we write down 1.2 colon space in front of it, and there we go, we got this. And then we go to the next subheading, which is naming, and we type 1.3 colon space, so we've got another subheading, right? And then we go to the next subheading, which was, I think, commercial and popular uptake, and we type 1.4 colon space, we've got another subheading. Then we go to the next and the final one, which is, I think, current development. Yes, current development. So I type in 1.5 colon space, and I've got my next subheading, right? So I've got 5 subheadings, all of them with titles or numbering 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. The next thing that we would be doing is we would be adding custom styles. So this is something which is absolutely not an ordinary thing to do. So in order to do that, first you go to, and I'm going to keep this option at this on this view for a few seconds. You drop down this styling drop down menu, and then you select the more option, because right now because already you can see there are heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. These are default heading styles, but right now I'm interested in adding styles for my document, obviously they are going to be different from a predefined heading styles. So mostly in our template as well, we have mentioned the font sizes for every heading. So they are normally, followed by IEEE standards or ACM standards, or from organizations like those, or sometimes our own understanding that we should like to have the main headings in this style, the second heading in this style, the third heading in this style, etc. Right? So I'm going to tell you how to add custom styles to our document so that we can reuse the settings on new headings every time we add them. We don't need to go every time and change the font name, the font size, and bold, italic, underline, and alignment, etc. We don't need to do that every time we add a new heading. We would like to reuse the settings in our document over and over again so that it is easier for us to work efficiently in our document, right? So we are going to add custom styles. So I'm going to right now click on more, and I can see that I'm given with this tiny window called styles and formatting. And in the styles and formatting, I can see there are many styles already defined in my document, but I can still go to this tiny plus sign over here, this tiny plus sign over here in the styles and formatting window. And if I click this, I can see the option new style from selection, right? And by the way, please keep saving your documents. So I'm going to select the custom styles. So I'm going to go to more styles, and these are the default options. I hope you can see this. There's a plus sign over here, and in the plus sign there is the option called new style from selection, and we select that and we give a name to our. So I'm going to call main heading, and I'm going to call my main heading, right? Because then it will be easier to locate. I'm going to call my style as my main heading. This is the style I'm going to apply to my chapters, chapter names. So I'm going to click OK, and you can see that immediately it is added over here. And then I'm going to add another style, and I'm going to call my sub heading, right? So I can see that, and actually they have grouped them together. So anyways, I'm going to go to my main heading, I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to select modify, right? So as soon as I do that, it is going to show me a, a large amount of settings related to that main heading that I can, you know, I can set all of those settings. I can save all those settings for my main heading, and every time I want to reuse my main heading, I can reuse all the styles and all the settings under my main heading. All right. So I'm going to right click and go to modify, and I'm going to change the alignment to. I'm just going to verify the alignment should be center. The font size should be name should be Calibri. Style should be bold, and size should be 32. And that's about it, right? And the alignment should be center. These are two things that we did set. The alignment for my main heading should be center, and the font name should for main heading should be Calibri, and style should be bold, and size should be 32, and press OK. Then you go to subheading and you click modify, and you change the alignment to left, and you go to the font tab and you change the font size to 20, right? And press OK. Let's change the size of main heading to font size to 24, and let's change the subheading font size to 18. So now I have changed the font sizes slightly. I have changed the main heading size to 24, chapter name size, and I have changed the subheading size to 18. So 24 and 18, I'm just going to write them over here. 24 and 18. This is for main heading size, and this is subheading size. Right? I'm just going to make a note of this over here. So now I select the name of the chapter and I double click my main heading. You can see that the text has grown in size up to size 24, because previously it was 20, now it has grown to 24. Now I select the second line 1.1 precursor and I'm going to double click my subheading. So you can see it has grown to size 18 with font size style is also changed from Times New Roman to calibri. And similarly, I traverse down and I select all the subheadings and I double click my subheading style. And immediately you can see that the style formatting that I had saved is immediately applied to that subheading. So I click my subheading and now this is applied to 1.3. Then I go to the line 1.4. I select 1.4. I double click my subheading. And then I go to 1.5. I select the line 1.5. I double click my subheading, and you can see that in such a short time I have applied the styles to all my subheadings. And then I'm going to go to the next chapter and I'm going to select the name of the chapter and I'm going to double click my main heading, and it is grown in size. And then I go to chapter 3 and I double click my main heading, and this is also grown in size. And then I go to the next page, I select chapter 4 final product and I double click my main heading, it is also grown in size. Then I go to chapter 5 heading name and I select the text, and then I also double click my main heading, it is also grown in size. So now if I have a look at all my document, I can see that all the headings are changed to a standard size, and all the subheadings are also changed to a second the standard size. Because I have less time now, I'm not going to fill the rest of the pages with dummy content. I'm just going to leave it over there. And now I'm going to show you and tell you how you can add table of content, because that was the most important thing. So you go to the start of the heading called chapter 1 and you press control enter, because now I am interested in adding a page for table of contents, right? I have already created all my documents, which looks very good, I think. But now I am interested in changing the document in such a way that I want to insert a new page in between the pages. So I am interested in inserting a page after this page and before this page, right? How can I do that? Two ways. I can either go to the last line of this page, after which interested in inserting a new page, and then I can press Control Enter, or I can go to the start line of this page, and I can also press Control Enter. Both of these are fine. The same things will happen. So I do this. Now you can immediately see that there is a new page inserted right after the first page and right before the second page. You had done so many things, you have already inserted the page, but you have been doing so many things, you don't even remember what text formatting or styles that you had applied where in the document, right? You have absolutely no track of that. So every time you want to be sure that the formatting is exactly what you want it to be, you are going to go to this part and you're going to clear the formatting. Every time you're starting a new page, clear the formatting. It will take you to the default, absolutely default view of the text, right? So I have cleared the formatting, and then I'm going to add some lines. I have just pressed some enters to add some lines to this. You can see in this special characters view that I have added some lines. And then I'm going to, on the first page, oh sorry, on the second page first line, I'm going to write down table of contents, right? Why did I add some lines before I typed table of contents? Is because I wanted to have some lines with default styling, or cleared formatting, so that I can so when my table of content appears over here, it is in basic formatting. Now I want you to select table of contents line and I want you to format it in a pleasing way, like center alignment with bold, and let's change the font style to, let's suppose, uh, Arial slightly, just to make it slightly different. Change it to Arial. Where is Arial? This is Arial, right? And then change the size to, let's suppose, 22, or maybe 20, yeah, 22. So this is our table of contents, and inshallah next time we will start and pick up from here, and we're going to add a table of content which we don't need to type. It is going to be automatically added over here based on all the chapters and subheadings that we have already created. So this is an extremely powerful tool which in academics and in universities, in offices, everywhere in the world, if you know this tool, it is going to be extremely easy for you to manage your documents.